Hi folks and welcome to Decoding. In today's video, we will look at very first beta build of brand new iPadOS 15 announced by Apple during their annual WWDC virtual event this Monday. Among other features, iPadOS introduces improved multitasking, widgets are now larger and better, App Library finally comes to iPad, and Notes app also seeing some improvements. Of course, there is also a brand new Safari, first introduced for macOS, Monterey, improved FaceTime and messages experience, and many more. There's a lot to talk about, so let's jump right in. To make things easier for you, we have divided this video into sections, therefore you can easily jump to feature you are most interested in. As for support, every iPad which can currently run iPadOS will get iPadOS 15 support once it will get officially released this fall. This is a great news if you happen to own an older iPad. First, let's talk about multitasking. There were many rumors about huge multitasking overhaul coming to iPadOS 15 since new iPads Pro for 2021 feature M1 chip and top spec models even 16GB of RAM. Therefore, many believed that iPadOS 15 will finally introduce more software potential to this over-the-top hardware. What we got instead is a minor improvement which now makes multitasking on iPad a little bit easier and more intuitive. For example, if we launch YouTube full screen but we want to pull in another app, there's this brand new toggle at the top. These three dots, which once we will tap on them, will welcome us with three options: full screen, split view and slide over. If we tap on this one, you can see that YouTube slides all the way to the right. Now, if we choose Spotify, for example, both apps will then be presented side by side in a split view, and the rest of it is very similar to iPadOS 14, which means that both apps are now fully active. We can change the size, make one larger than the other one, and so on and so forth. Once we tap on three dots again, we have option to change current app to a full screen view or the last icon, which will put the app into now familiar slide over mode. We can shuffle among other slide over apps. For example, you can see I have Audible here, while I can still fully interact with YouTube. If I want to go into the split view, I simply tap one of these three dots again, and if I want to make it full screen, I just tap here. There we go. Multitasking is now really easy to use. Now if I want to go to multitasking window, you can see that on the right we can see apps which we have currently used in slide over mode. But we can also pair apps together a little easier than before. For example, if I want to have Spotify in split view with Overcast, it is this easy, and best thing is that apps will stay paired, so if I leave the home screen and come back later, apps are still there in pairs just where I left them. Yet another improvement which is currently limited to a handful of apps is called Center Window. Let me explain. If we, for example, go to Mail app, first we can see that app is slightly redesigned and improved. But what is interesting is that if we want to reply on this email, I tap on reply, we can see this brand new Center Window which we can move around. It floats above the Mail app. We can transform it into slide over view. I can make the reply window full screen, or I can simply go to split view with the File app if I need a reference, for example. This feature alone moves iPadOS tiny step closer to macOS. Hopefully, developers will start adopting this feature on more of their apps. With iOS and iPadOS 14 last year, Apple has introduced widgets, but on the iPad their placement was very limited, never really allowed to fully utilize that large screen. This changes this year, because with iPadOS 15 we can finally place widgets virtually anywhere on the home screen. If I, for example, tap here on Fantastical, I can place it anywhere I want. I can place it here or here. Simply anywhere. With that, Apple has also introduced some new first-party widgets, for example Mail and Apple TV, but that's not all. Now we have option to choose this extra large widget size if we really want to go all in. This widget is massive, but it makes perfect sense, especially on larger iPads. Files app also comes with this huge widget where you can see your documents on this virtual shelves. We still have widgets here if we swipe from the left. If you have a stack of multiple widgets, there is now option to toggle on and off suggested widgets. These suggestions will fluidly change during the day based on your habits. Yet another feature which was originally introduced with iOS 14 but never made it to iPadOS is App Library. You can now find App Library at the right bottom corner, and if I tap on it, we can see all the apps I have currently installed neatly organized into folders. Unfortunately, we cannot create folders and organize apps ourselves, but system does pretty good job here. For example, here we have productivity and finance apps, and in here all the games together. Here are the creativity apps. Thanks to App Library, we can finally remove apps from the home screen without deleting them. Those apps will end up in the App Library. App Library can be also accessed by swiping all the way to the right on the home screen, just like on the iPhone. Notes app has also been improved with addition to brand new Quick Note. Quick Note can be accessed from anywhere system-wide by simply swiping from the bottom right corner using Apple Pencil, just like this. Now, we can take our note. Hi! We can relocate this window anywhere we want. We can make it larger or smaller. We can share the Quick Note, delete it, or we can open Full Notes app where, as you can see, there is now this brand new Quick Note section to help distinguish them from regular notes. We can also quickly add links to Quick Note by highlighting text in Safari or add links from apps. In the Note app, you can now use number tag or hashtag and keyword in order to improve collaboration view in the Notes app. This way, you'll be able to see who made changes to the note. Quick Note is definitely my favorite among all new features introduced with iPadOS 15, since you can access it anywhere just like this. Once you're done, you can just put it away and go about your day. When you need your note again, you can just bring it back like this. Yet another feature that went system-wide is Translate. You can therefore use it literally anywhere within iPadOS. Let me demonstrate. Let's open Safari, for example, and let's just pick word cloud for this purpose. Highlight it and tap on Translate, and now you can see that it was already translated to French. We can choose from multiple languages, for example, Japanese. From here, we can press play in order to hear pronunciation. We can copy, add to favorites, or even open full Translate app just like this. Now, Translate is easier to use and accessible than ever before. Very helpful feature for students or simply for someone who is learning new language or working on better pronunciation. Magnifying Glass was removed in iOS 13, but it now makes its comeback in a slightly redesigned form. Let's for example go to Books. And just like before, if you select a portion of text, in order to make more precise selection, Magnifying Glass will appear. Helpful feature which should have never been removed at the first place. Swift Playgrounds now allows you to build apps directly from the iPad. No Mac needed. This one is huge as it opens so many new opportunities for developers. The fact that you can now write code and immediately see it in live preview on the iPad is simply amazing. For beginners, there are also helpful guides to get started. The best part is that you can even submit your app directly from the iPad to the App Store. This year, we have seen huge overhaul of Safari app on macOS 12 and iOS 15. iPadOS 15, of course, is no exception. If we open Safari, we can see this brand new simplified layout in order to make content really pop out. Everything what we might not need is hidden away. First on the left side, we can find tab from where we can create groups of multiple tabs, for example, work, entertainment. You got the idea. Bookmarks and private tab are also located here. If we jump back here again, look at the new search bar design. Safari now adopts its color scheme to the websites. For example, here on verge.com, we can see that browser turns dark, which is very cool. Everything that you might need was hidden here, including reload, read later, share, copy. We can even check our privacy report here. Everything is now very simplified. It might take some time to get used to, but in my opinion, it is a huge step forward from those more conventional browser layouts. We can close the tab just like this. We can still rearrange tabs just like before. If we press and hold, we will toggle this mini menu where we can group by tab, close other tabs, and arrange tabs by website. We can also search by voice, which is really cool if you are, for example, cooking and your hands are dirty. Do Not Disturb also got revamped, and it's now called Focus. We can still find it on familiar place here in the control center. You can already see the icon is a little bit different, and once we tap on it, we will be welcomed by multiple focus profiles. From here, we can choose existing profiles, or we can just create custom one. Let's say we don't want to be disturbed during our workout. We can create exceptions for certain people so they can reach us, even while in focus mode. We can also share status so people will see why I am unavailable at that point. Focus mode can be enabled automatically. For example, as soon as I start my Fitness Plus session. You can also add allowed apps. For example, during our workout session, we only want to access related apps, but we don't want to be tempted by social media apps, for example. Do we want to enable time-sensitive notifications or not? Let's tap on yes for now. So this is how you can set up your custom focus mode. We can toggle them from here. We can turn them on for an hour or until tomorrow morning. We can also set them by location, which means if I leave my home, the focus mode will change. Low power mode comes to iPad, but this is a very minor change. People who mostly use their iPad on the go will appreciate this. If you go to settings and select battery, we can see brand new option to toggle low power mode on and off. This should, at least in theory, give a little extra battery life to your iPad. Voice Memo App was also improved compared to the last version. On the left, we have our recordings, and on the top right corner, we have new options to slow down or speed up recordings, as well as skip silent parts. And we can also enhance audio, though this is not a new feature. Voice memos can be now marked as favorites, and we can also organize recordings into folders and then share them. Overall, iPadOS 15 is a minor improvement. However, so far from what we have seen from this very first beta build, all of these improvements are good and definitely a step forward. However, many of us expected way more from iPadOS 15, especially those who own M1 iPads Pro. Let's not forget about improved FaceTime, where you can now share your screen or watch movies, listen to music together with others. There's also a spatial audio available for FaceTime, new grid view and portrait mode. There are also new microphone modes, which are also supported by third-party apps. There are many other features, mostly shared across macOS 12 and iOS 15, which we will cover in our future videos, so stay tuned and make sure to subscribe. Thanks for watching, and we will see you in the next one.